Alrighty, man. Back again with the podcast. I hope you've been paying attention because I haven't really done a whole lot of football watching in a while. Anything happening this offseason so far?
Let's see. Aaron Rodgers is staying with the Packers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we got a new quarterback.
Oh, did you? Cool.
And Tom Brady's back.
Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to this Free Agency Madness, Episode 1 edition of the Trajan Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler, and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic Christian Temple, joined alongside, as always, by the no longer quarterbackless, terrible towel twirling Trajan. How are we doing this offseason so far?
What are you talking about? We had Mason Rudolph.
How could I forget? You were set for life as is, but you just
I know.
You just reached into the cookie jar one more time to get one more, and you got a good one there.
The rich got richer.
Absolutely. That's the best way to look at it there too. But oh man, what an insane offseason thus far. And we haven't even reached the draft yet. Reached the draft yet. But just the way the players are flying left and right. I mean, coming into this month, I thought maybe we could do one video, one quick session of all the free agency stuff and all that too. And that's physically impossible at this point. So what we are doing this week is giving you the rundown of the moves of the AFC. So we'll be going AFC West, East, South, North, and we will be saving probably the most exciting stuff for last with the NFC, because there's been a lot to talk about, including a certain future Hall of Famer coming back to the NFL. He pulling an old Brett Favre there, saying he's going to retire, and apparently retirement was just not the life for him, because it only took, a month?
Yeah, I ain't fucking leaving.
Exactly. He pulled a Wolf of Wall Street on us here too. But without further ado, let us get into the AFC side of things with the with the free agency tracker. The trades have been going wild here too, and might as well be a trade tracker. But a lot of good re-signings too. Starting with the AFC East. The biggest names probably in this one is probably going to be Von Miller, who signed a 6-year, $120 million contract to be the linebacker for the Buffalo Bills. As if I saw the stat where I didn't know this. The Buffalo Bills were the lowest scored on defense this year, and getting a veteran like Von Miller to help with that is just an awesome pickup on their side too. And many thought, including myself, that Von Miller would be done after the Super Bowl. I mean, he got his second ring with his first year on a new team, but apparently he's hungry for more.
He's just skipping around to playoff contenders.
Absolutely. That's what you do, right?
As many rings as you can.
Obviously, a name that's missing on there, Cole Beasley, being let go by the team, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Mitch Morse signing a 2-year extension. Obviously, a great asset to the protection of Josh Allen. You got O.J. Howard agreeing to a 1-year deal on the tight end side for the Buffalo Bills. So their offense, for the most part, going to be staying about the same. But Von Miller, a big time inclusion on defense. What's going on down in Miami?
All right, Miami picked up Teddy Bridgewater, so that's an interesting pickup there. He's a solid quarterback. I mean, nothing splashy, but he's going to get the job done. So pretty good, decent move there. Chase Edmonds is probably a big pickup there. The 2-year deal, $12.6 million.
That's a dual threat if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah, so they're going to have plenty. It looks like they're going to stick to a ground game, and that would fit best with Teddy Bridgewater. So we'll see if he's the week 1 starter over what's his name, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua. And so a few other pickups there. They pick up Alec Ingold, fullback. Fullbacks really don't have a place in the league, but
as someone that enjoys a good fullback touchdown with an Andy Reid led offense, I tend to disagree with you. Fullbacks are people too, man.
How many times does it happen though?
It's always exciting when it does.
It's like my good friend Temple getting laid. No,
Oh my god! Wow, we're starting this offseason hot right now, aren't we? Another important one here too. Defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah getting a 4-year,
Yep.
$65 million extension too, and that's another thing. The Dolphins they play it pretty safe on their offense, but defense definitely needed some push here too, and signing a solid player like him that'll definitely help also.
Oh, exactly. Yep. No, and wasn't he gonna sign with like the Ravens too? I'm pretty sure
Ogbah came from Kansas City actually beforehand. That's the reason I
he
know the
did?
name so
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I was gonna get to that. That's a really good pickup on them. They need that pressure. A few years ago, they had a really good defense. It was a very opportunistic defense. So
Yes.
see if they can get back to that. They fell off the horse last year.
They did, and now there's a new coach in town too. That's going to be interesting how they change things up. Obviously, with Teddy Bridgewater and Tua, there's going to be some competition there, and obviously the Deshaun Watson rumors have finally been put to rest by this pickup too. But moving on over to the New England Patriots now, we still have Brian Hoyer as a backup quarterback, but we all know it's the Mac Jones show from here on out too. He was a solid rookie last year, and if there's one thing that although a defensive-minded coach like Belichick, he's good with bringing in those younger quarterbacks too. Although he will not have Josh McDaniel at his side next year at the coordinator position. James White coming back for another 2-year deal. Kicker Nick Folt. How about Nick Folk coming in with a 2-year, $5 million extension? Safety Devin McCourty, a big face on the defensive side, and you got special teamer Matthew Slater with a 1-year, $2 million deal. So not a whole lot of big time moves for the New England Patriots, besides Kyle Van Noy leaving the team, from what I understand.
Yep. No, he was cut there, so it'll be interesting to see where he lines up. But we move on to the Jets, and can I get an elite from you? Get that elite.
We've got the elite in the elite company of Tua, in the elite company of Mac Jones. We have the elite Joe Flacco coming home.
Joe Flacco. Yep. So re-sign 1-year deal, year-to-year deal with him there. Then we got Evan Coleman, running back there, re-signed. So he has a $1.5 million deal. Braxton Berrios is re-signed. Now CJ Uzama.
That's a big pickup.
That is a big pickup there. So $24 million 3-year deal. They shored up the offensive line, which they needed to. Mm-hmm. Offensive tackle, offensive guard there. And then on the defensive side, they picked up Nathan Shepard, defensive tackle, linebacker Jacob Martin, cornerback DJ Reed, and safety Jordan Whitehead, and defensive back LaMarcus Joyner. So re-signed a few of them, signed a few guys back up to it. We'll see what the Jets do. Obviously, they're probably going to be building more towards the draft capital.
Yes.
What they could get there. But hopefully those offensive people pick up for them.
A couple of big names on the defensive side there too, which is obviously that's Robert Saleh's wheelhouse too. Absolutely, we mentioned CJ Uzama there from the Super Bowl runner-up Cincinnati Bengals. Now the question will become in this coming draft: you've got Joe Flacco and you've got Zach Wilson. Do you see the Jets maybe going back to the well for another quarterback?
I don't. I don't see them because it's not a quarterback draft heavy year this year.
I agree.
Now if it was otherwise, maybe, but I think you saw enough flashes from Wilson. Isn't that his name, Wilson?
Zach Wilson, yes. He got hurt, and it was was it Chad White? It was something White. I thought I forget what the other quarterbacks there.
It's the Jets.
He had a couple flashes of brilliance in a couple games, and then he was exposed for what he truly is. But with all that being said, obviously a lot of moves in this division alone. I don't foresee the Buffalo Bills giving away their top spot to any of these teams just to put the long and the short in that too. I mean, anything could happen. It is the NFL, but I see this as the Bills show, at least for the foreseeable future, even still. The list isn't so big on the Baltimore Ravens right now, but that's not even the big story. The big story is what they almost had.
Yeah.
What they almost had coming out of Green Bay. You had Zachary Smith almost signing a deal and then backing out for reasons that I don't think they've fully explained yet. I don't know. Was there just miscommunication in the contract talks? Was there something that they thought they could promise, but backed out and said, "Oh no, we can't do that instead"? So, but Zachary still remains a free agent at this moment, which is something Kansas City has been looking very closely at trying to go after. So we will definitely be keeping
you guys still have money?
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. Our eyes and ears peeled to see where he ends up next. But as far as on their tracker side, Morgan Moses signing a 3-year, $15 million deal on the offensive line. Michael Pierce, the defensive tackle, 3-year, $16.5 million, and safety Marcus Williams with a 5-year, $70 million contract. That is huge, especially considering the Ravens needing help over the top as they were, solid defensive front, but it just, when it came to the defensive backs, they give up a lot of big plays.
Yeah. No, they were injured a lot last year, so we'll see how they are this year going into it. So maybe they didn't need to make all those moves because they got a lot of guys returning from last year. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. Moving on to the Bengals. Priority number 1 for them is to re-sign Brandon Allen, and they did it. Re-signed.
The quarterback of the future has returned.
They get Hayden Hurst in a 1-year deal. Offensive guard, it's signed a 4-year. It's Alex Kaupa. He was from the Bucks, I believe, correct?
That sounds correct, actually, too. So, yes, they're shoring up their offensive line, and you could definitely see them making a run at more offensive linemen during the draft this year, for sure. I could see that.
Yep. And then Ted Karras as well, O-line. Defensive tackle, B.J. Hill. And how would you like to just have a name, B.J.? So he gets a 3-year, $30 million deal. And then Jesse Bates, safety, received the franchise tag.
Very solid. Very solid year last year for him.
Very. So they pick him up on the cheap. Hopefully he plays on the franchise tag, though. There's always that possibility nowadays.
I had no idea that Michael Thomas changed positions and decided to become a cornerback instead.
When I saw the name and I was perusing through here, I was like, Michael Thomas.
Yeah, that was me too.
Defensive back. So he re-signed, and then Clark Harris re-signed as well. So few re-signings, not really that splashy. You'd think with all their money, it would make some splashes in free agency, but we still got some time left, and they probably just feel pretty confident about their team.
They've got a pretty solid offense in general here too. Obviously, Joe Burrow's still got plenty of weapons. Even with the loss of the tight end, they went out and got Hayden Hurst, and they can always find one in the draft somewhere if they wanted to. But when you've got Jamar Chase and the rest of those receivers, and you got Joe Mixon in the backfield, you're sitting pretty when it comes to the
and Brandon Allen
taking the AFC North. Exactly, you got Brandon Allen in your back pocket. Moving on to the Cleveland Browns, and I bet they would rather have Brandon Allen right now with the controversy that's going on. Baker Mayfield, who is not on this list, but I bet he wishes he was, has decided he really does not want to play in Cleveland anymore. So a lot of controversy, a lot of drama going on in that area of the country, in the factory of sadness. I can only imagine what your brother is thinking of. I can only imagine what your brother is thinking about right now. But for moves that have happened for the Cleveland Browns, probably the biggest one is the top one there, Amari Cooper, filling in that OBJ spot right there. Acquired in trade for Dallas for a 2022 fifth-round pick and a swap of sixth-rounders. Now, who'd have thought we'd be talking about that after Amari Cooper was taken for a first-round pick several years ago from the Oakland Raiders to the Dallas Cowboys, and now here he is for a fifth-round and a sixth-round pick. Wide receiver Jakeem Grant signing a 3-year deal. Tight end David Njoku receiving the franchise tag. On the defensive side, you got Chase Winovich in a trade from the New England Patriots for Mac Wilson. Pretty even stretch there too. Fills a need for both teams. Defensive tackle Taven Bryan getting a 1-year deal of $5 million, and linebacker Anthony Walker returning to the team. He had a solid year last year, but a lot of questions to be answered in the quarterback position for Cleveland.
Yeah. And I can't really blame him. I mean, you go out, you interview Deshaun Watson, all the controversy surrounding him. I know he got cleared. They just didn't find enough evidence. I mean, all people are innocent until proven guilty, but I kind of feel a little betrayed too and want to trade as well.
Absolutely.
Especially last year he was playing injured. I mean, he gutted it for the team.
He really did.
And so, as much as I love to see the Browns' misery, I think it's a stupid move on their part. And hopefully Baker goes to a team that didn't respect his talents on the field, because he did get him back to a competitive level.
Do you have room for a fourth-string quarterback with all the QBs that you've been going after?
So, Tomlin said he wanted 4 QBs going into this year.
There you go.
Battle it out. That would just be hilarious. We go in with Baker and we just start destroying the Browns still.
Let's hear about the other 2 quarterbacks that have done stuff in the offseason for the Steelers.
So now we are in the Steelers territory. Steelers that are going to the Super Bowl this year.
We're still on that hype train, huh?
We are on that hype. We are on this out of this world hype train forever, Josh. Now, so Dwayne Haskett, he is signed as restricted tender. So we got him. Low risk, high reward. Maybe he starts showing some talent. I don't know. But the one that I am excited about is Mitchell Trubisky. Yes, the same Mitchell Trubisky from the Bears, but hear me out. I think he deserves a second chance. He did play for Matt Nagy as a head coach. I mean, I know you got him back. You kind of like him for some reason, but I don't know there. We re-signed our offensive tackle, which is a big step up there. He did do really good for us. Okafor, whatever his name is.
No, we have Okafor. You have Okorafor.
Okorafor. Chloroform. Anyways, God. Then we go ahead and pick up offensive guard from the Bears. He was actually their better guy, Jay Mills. So a 3-year, $26.5 million deal. O-line, Mason Cole, signed a 3-year contract. Then this is one I'm excited about, and Steelers fans should be excited about. Miles Jack. We are signing him to a 2-year deal there. He played very well with Jacksonville, and he has a lot of tackles there. He's very athletic. That's what we need. For anyone following Steelers, they know that we rely a lot on our linebackers. Dropping into coverage, they're moving around a lot, and so the athleticism needs to be there if you're going to be playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers as a linebacker. Spillane, he is going to be on our team again, and cornerback Arthur Mallett, he will be re-signed. Levi Wallace, he was actually picked up from the Bills there,
yes.
So we got a 2-year contract on him. We liked what we saw. Witherspoon is a kind of a success story coming out of Steelers. He worked his way into this role. Did a very good showing last year towards the end of the stretch. He is re-signed. And then safety Miles Killenbrew re-signed. So, few moves there. Steelers fans are used to not anything splashy in the offseason. And I think this is kind of splashy for them. So we'll see what it comes to with these people.
Absolutely. And it's funny. The biggest question mark going into last year with the drafting of Najee Harris was who's going to block for him. And it seems like the Steelers, they started to address that problem last year, but over the course of the offseason, as you can tell, they are really trying to really make that work on their offensive line here too. Mm-hmm. So look forward to Trubisky. We mentioned with with Bridgewater earlier. He's not going to do anything flashy, if he's not going to, make stupid mistakes to try to make the big splash plays too. He's going to do what's going to be asked of him. And if the Steelers become a run-first team with Najee, obviously that's not a bad way to go too, because Najee is a very talented guy, and he just needs some blockers in front of him, and obviously that's the route it seems like they're going to go.
Yeah. We needed a young guy to run our offense. I mean, we can't really jet sweep with Ben Roethlisberger out there and stuff like that.
Jet sweep on 4th and 2, right? Pitch to the outside. Oh boy. Well, as we mentioned earlier, how we thought in the East that the Buffalo Bills will probably easily take the East once again too. The North is going to be very interesting. Even though the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl last year, it's still going to be a tough division for them to try to repeat as AFC North champions again. So it'll be very interesting to see what other moves can be made during the offseason, what happens in the draft, and it'll be fun to see if they can keep their crown as kings of the North or not.
False kings of the North, usurpers.
Well, here come the false kings of the South. The AFC South, starting with the Houston Texans, and man, oh man, that huge splash with re-signing Jeff Driscoll there. Oh, good heavens. Let's just we'll go quickly through these names here. Got a running back, Royce Freeman, running back, Dare Ungubabwe, wide receiver, Chris Conley, former Kansas City Chief wide receiver, Chris Conley. Yep. I honestly forgot that he's still in the league. Last I knew, he was with the Jaguars. Tight end, Pharaoh Brown, Cedric Ogbuwe, Justin Britt, AJ Cann, Malik Collins. You got Blake Cashman, Christian Kirksey, Agbo Okoronkwo, Jalen Reeves, Mabin, Terrence Brooks, MJ Stewart, and Desmond King. I am saying all those names like I am a professional. Not a whole lot of things to look forward to if you're a Houston Texans fan, especially considering that Deshaun Watson will no longer be on your squad in the coming year. So, Lovie Smith, I respect him as a coach. He's got a lot of work to do, and with the way the AFC South is right now, which honestly the rest of the AFC South right now is still, trying to find each of their identities too. So who knows? You could very well see the Houston Texans as AFC South champions yet again because of how bumbled everything is in the rest of their division right now. They're almost becoming the NFC East of the AFC now.
Exactly, and it's kind of crazy there with that situation. But I wish all the best to Lovie Smith. But moving on to the Indianapolis Colts, who's their quarterback?
Who is going to be the quarterback? Yep. Will Frank Reich step into the quarterback role again for the first time since 95?
For those of you who don't know, Wentz is no longer there. He is a commander. But Indianapolis Colts, they pick up tight end Mo Alley Cox, who will be throwing to him. Like we said, we don't know.
Mo Alley Cox returns. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and so they got him re-signed. Offensive tackle Matt Pryor. Then they got a defensive end, Aquan Lewis, re-signed there. Yannick Ngakoue.
Yannick Ngakoue. Yeah, that was the big trade. That was the big trade in the offseason for the Colts so far, besides Carson Wentz getting rid of Yorak Yassin for the cornerback position for someone in the defensive end. So, been pretty quiet for them so far.
Yep, they got linebacker Zaire Franklin re-signed, and then a cornerback agreed to the terms, Brandon Faison, whatever his name is.
Fancy son. Schoolium fancy son. There we go. Absolutely. So, not a whole lot going on in Indy right now, just the loss of their quarterback. That's the big question, who will be their quarterback. But someone we know is going to be the quarterback would be Trevor Lawrence. And Jacksonville spending money like only Tony Khan can. I mean, my God, see how much money he spends for former WWE superstars for AEW. He's showing that right now with some of the picks he's made here. Wide receiver Zay Jones from the Vegas Raiders, Christian Kirk from the Arizona Cardinals. You got Evan Ingram from the Giants. You got Cam Robinson receiving the franchise tag on the O-line. They got Brandon Sheriff, who got a 3-year, $49.5 million deal. You got Tyler Shapeshifter. I don't know. Tyler Shatley re-signed on a 2-year deal. So there's the face of your offensive line right there, protecting Trevor Lawrence this year. And on the defensive side, you got Foley Fatsukazi signing a 3-year, $30 million deal. Foye Alukun signing a 3-year, $45 million deal with $28 million fully guaranteed. Trey Herndon coming back again, and Darius Williams coming in on a 3-year, $30 million deal. Holy smokes, Con, what are you doing? You're throwing your money at players that haven't even had 1,000-yard receiving, not even top 10 players in their respective category. What is going on down in Jacksonville right now? I mean, good heavens.
Throw it until it sticks.
I guess, because is James Robinson even still there at this point? It seems like is Etienne even returned from injury yet? Their running back room is just a mess right now, and their head coach. I mean, God bless Doug Peterson. He's got to deal with this crap this year. Gonna have to make chicken salad out of chicken you know what with this lineup right here. But hey, they could prove me wrong. Maybe the Jaguars will go freaking 12-5 this year for all we know. Who knows?
Who knows? They might be the team to beat.
But so far, the team to beat. I'll let you have this one.
Your favorite team to face in the regular season.
Oh, good heavens!
Titans. You got tight end Jeff Swaim.
Jeff Swaim, yep.
Yep, he is a 1-year deal, $3.5 million. So I don't know how good of a deal that is there, how good of a player, but we'll see. It did pick up a center, Ben Jones. So he signed a 2-year, $14 million deal. Add some depth there. Jamarco Jones, offensive line, agreed to terms, multi-year contract. That's all they have right now. Linebacker Harold Landry re-signed, so he's got a big deal there. And then
no relation to Jarvis Landry.
No relation. Browns did Jarvis Landry wrong as well. Then Morgan Cox agreed to a 1-year extension. That's according to the team as well. So some moves, but not really anything notable.
Nothing real notable. I think the Titans have just accepted the fact it's look, we can just sit here and do nothing, and they're pretty much handing us the AFC South on a silver platter right now. I'm not even going to predict who I think is going to win, but if the Titans just don't get in their own way, there's no reason why they shouldn't run away with that. I mean, even if the Colts, if the Colts got Jimmy Garoppolo, you still got Jonathan Taylor. I mean, yeah, you've got a solid running back, but your wide receiver core are getting older. They're not, the big names that we, like a T.Y. Hilton is probably about it. But I don't even know how often he'll be playing this year. But yeah, if the Titans don't take the division, then it's because they got in their own way. That's how I feel about that.
Exactly.
So, I will let you take this top one here because my team is on the second list there too. But holy smokes, Denver! My God, what woke you up this year?
So, bold prediction: Chiefs will be number 4 team in the AFC West. Bold prediction.
Very bold prediction there. Something I will see if
bold prediction.
Something I'll see if you follow up on when we make our predictions for the playoffs later on this year.
I'll put money on it. I'll put a $1 bill.
Are you sure you want to put money on something football related, buddy? Are you sure that's the route you want to go there?
Oh, jeez. That's why I said $1 bill.
Oh, okay. You'll financially recover from that. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So big
oh
news
my
out of
goodness.
Denver is that they signed defensive tackle Jones. No. They signed Russell Wilson.
Oh my gosh.
They send out Drew Lock, which, tight end, no offense. That's pretty good trade there, and Shelby Harris was a pretty good guy too.
Yes.
So,
but they made up for it. That's for sure.
Cardinals, Seahawks. They definitely got some good players out of it, but is it worth losing Russell Wilson? I don't think so. But 2 first-round picks and 2 second-rounders. That's pretty good too. But yeah, so then you got offensive tackle Calvin Anderson. defensive end, Randy Gregory, as I alluded to earlier, defensive tackle DJ Jones, a 3-year deal, $30 million. Linebacker Josie Jewell, 2-year deal, and Malik Reed, refusal of tender there. So they picked up some people. Broncos felt like they were a quarterback away from really taking over last year. And arguably, that could have been the case. They played you guys pretty strong that last game of the season.
Yes, they did. They did.
So I don't think they're the team to beat in the AFC West. I think some other teams did some good signings there, but I'll leave it to you with your beloved fourth-place team in the AFC West, there, Kansas City Chiefs.
I'll make one more note about the Broncos too beforehand too. Yes, they've got a solid quarterback now in Russell Wilson. Yes, they gave up a haul with Shelby Harris too, but the Randy Gregory situation, that was just hilarious though. Randy Gregory was on his way to the Dallas facility to sign that contract for literally the same terms, 5 years, $70 million, to stay on the team that he's been with, and then suddenly just changed his mind, and he's going to Denver now too. I could not believe that when I read that. I'm like, did Jerry Jones say something stupid or something to make him change his mind? I couldn't understand what in the world would possess him to just take a right turn.
Russell Wilson more than Dak.
Maybe, I don't know. It's one of those deals. I haven't heard an answer to that question yet, too, and maybe we will later this season. Maybe we won't. Maybe he just can keep it to himself. But yes, moving on to the six time straight AFC West champions, re-signing their franchise quarterback, Chad Henne. So we are back in business, baby. We're going to get number 7 this year, absolutely. No, on a serious note, the reason I'm wearing his jersey today, congratulations to Patrick Mahomes getting married to the love of his life. It's probably weighing on him that he couldn't bring his team back to the Super Bowl, but at least he has something happy now. I remember my wedding day; it was one of the happiest days of my life, so he deserves it. I'm glad for the happy couple. Someone that'll be keeping the new married man safe, Orlando Brown, who had a great season last year. The entire offensive line had a phenomenal season last year. He got franchise tagged. Frank Clark, who I was fully expecting to be released this year, he wants to stay. He wants to prove himself one more time. He signed a new 2-year deal with to lower his cap hit, $29 million deal with up to $36 million with incentives. So going into that frees up some cap space to maybe get some help on the defensive side, which is what the Chiefs are after. And following the tradition of getting safeties from the Houston Texans, we signed Justin Reed to a 3-year, $31 million deal that includes $20 million guaranteed. I am not opposed to that. Justin Reed is a guy it was always one of the big question marks with Tyrann Mathieu is that he's afraid to tackle. I didn't necessarily agree with that, but I could see flashes where that was the case. Justin Reed, he will lay down the boom. And the only thing I can see that is going to go against him that is the fact that this is an offensive first league. And the unnecessary roughness penalties even last year were getting ridiculous. So I'm afraid that this may bite us in that way. Just the way they're trying to protect the offensive players now, like the hitting the defenseless receiver, that's getting, they may look at that this offseason, the officials, but it's getting more and more ridiculous the more I see those two. So, but
when you lay down the boom, you get injured. Sometimes
you lay down the boom, you get injured. Sometimes you think
$20 million of that's guaranteed.
The risk of that for both sides, but apparently you only get flagged if it's an offensive player. But no, not a whole lot of noise right now from Kansas City. Like I said, they're just trying to they're restructuring a lot of deals, so we could come back. When we come back next week, going over the NFC, we may have some new stuff to talk about with the AFC. We won't spend a whole lot of time on the AFC. If there's some big news coming out of it with our teams, we may brush on it, but we will spend the majority of our time talking about the NFC. But that is it for the Chiefs on their side. But even on the Las Vegas Raiders side of things, obviously with a brand new head coach, that was you would think that'd be the big enough news, but my goodness, have they been busy this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, so they re-signed Max Crosby, a lot of money going to him.
Yes.
Then they bring in Chandler Jones. Like, oh man,
yes.
okay.
Oh boy.
And then they get Devontae Adams.
Did not see that coming.
So, I mean, Carr should have no problems this year. He
shouldn't. He shouldn't. But
he will. He will. But he shouldn't. And so this is definitely, I think, almost a prove it year for him.
Mm-hmm.
If he does not do good, I think they're going to be moving on from him. But they got running back Brandon Bolden.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he is not going to be their lead running back, but just some safety there.
Probably a third down back behind Josh Jacobs, absolutely.
Yep. Already talked about Devontae Adams,
Mm-hmm.
Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. All three of those, a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money just for three players. But they are worth it. So then they get defensive tackle Bilal Nichols.
Nicholas.
I'm just adding letters.
You are. You're on a roll with these names today, man.
I can't even handle it. Signing a 2-year deal. Cornerback Anthony Everett, whatever his name is. You know how it is. And then Rock Ya-Sin.
Rock Ya-Sin. Let's go.
We already kind of covered that with the trade with Indianapolis. So I don't know. I don't know how strong Rock Ya-Sin is. Do you know? I mean, anything about him?
He will be, if I believe Jonathan Abrams is still with the Raiders, he'll be a good option on the opposite side of him too. So he's with the Colts, he didn't really allow a lot of big plays, but when he did, they were usually spectacular. So expect him to really try to come into his own against either the number 2 or number 3 receiver, because I believe Jonathan Abrams will probably be the number 1 guy that would cover like a Tyreek Hill or Juju Smith-Schuster for if it was the Steelers, or Keenan Allen for the Chargers, some along those lines. But the Raiders. Apparently, the salary cap is only a social construct because, my God, that's a lot of cash to be thrown around out there too. But the Raiders, that you can't call it a rebuild necessarily, but there's a lot of rebuild aspects going into it. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. And
I think it's almost a win now mentality.
It seems like it, and that's just the way the Raiders have always been. It's like they don't care who's on the team as long as they win now. That's always been the battle cry: just win, baby. And they are. It's fitting that they're in Vegas because this seems like they are all in this year. No matter what.
The chips are moved in.
Absolutely. Now moving on to the final team in the AFC, we cover the Los Angeles Chargers, who have definitely been busy too on the defensive side of the ball on their own right too. With Chase Daniel, he's returning as backup quarterback behind Justin Herbert. Mike Williams coming back again. That was a big question mark if he was going to stay with the team or not, but he is. So him and Keenan Allen would be taking reps together. 3-year, $60 million deal with $40 million guaranteed. You've got Christian Covington, Austin Johnson, and Sebastian Joseph Day for the defensive line. But then you've got your new linebacker making his return to the AFC West. You got Khalil Mack, return of the Mack. Return of the Mac. Acquired in trade from the Buffalo Bears, the Chicago Bears rather. Coming back, filling up that linebacking core, and look, imagine that you got him and you got Nick Bosa together again.
Yep.
Or not together again, just together. You got J.C. Jackson coming from the New England Patriots, and that was one I was like, man, I hope the Chiefs go after him. That would be amazing. Because we just let Charvarius Ward go to the San Francisco 49ers. They're like, all right, if we can get a solid cornerback, that'd be amazing. It's like J.C. Jackson, that's perfect. He's great. He was awesome last year for the Patriots, but the Chargers offered him $82 million deal, 5 years, $40 million guaranteed. And, I know we can't cover that, but I believe J.C. Jackson will definitely be worth that. Long snapper Josh Harris, 4-year deal, and kicker Dustin Hopkins coming to the team, returning to the team, rather, signing a multi-year contract, terms not specified. So, man, the AFC West is going to be wild. You might as well call it the Wild Wild West at this point. It's going to be incredible to watch. So, but that is our AFC recap of the free agent frenzy. Like I said, when we come back next week, if we have any other updates in the AFC, we will be covering those two. But next week we will be covering the NFC. Any closing thoughts for the AFC this week before we close out the show, Trajan?
What if all those big trades and signings in the AFC West are just busts? That'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be hilarious.
A lot of big names. You can't expect every single one of those big names to do absolutely spectacular. So you can only hope if you're a fan of those respective teams, you can only hope that gets you one step closer. And at the Chiefs, like I said, 6 straight years as AFC West champs. There is a huge target on their back right now in that division, and it only makes for fun football to watch too.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, buy or sell. Will Perna be asking for Drew Lock by the end of the year?
Please come back to me, or Bridgewater. He may be asking for Bridgewater again too. You never know. So, but on that note, that is our show this week. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Click like if you liked the video. Click subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Tell all of your friends. We have only covered half of the madness, and we haven't even reached the draft yet, but we appreciate you coming back, sticking with us during this hectic offseason, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. This is Temple and Trajan, signing off.